In the late summer of 1908, Collinsville, Illinois, near the Cahokia Mounds, construction workers accidentally unearthed a stone tomb that contained several giant bodies, each measuring over 7 feet tall. Following this discovery, the bodies quickly disappeared, only to add more mystery to the idea that a large species of humans once inhabited the Americas. Is it possible that what they had stumbled upon was the remains of a great culture that not only roamed the Americas, but also the world?
In my research, there's over 1,500 newspaper articles that all span from the early 1900s, late 1800s of non-stop discoveries of giant bones in mounds, some of them not in mounds. Some of them are giant bones that have Native American lineage, which is interesting because when you look at some of the writings of the earliest explorers in North America, and most of their journals, they describe the chiefs of each tribe as being a giant, some of them 12 to 15 feet tall. And so here yet again, you're seeing this upper status being given to the people that have that genetic lineage. And when you look at that happening in North America, and then you look at the logs of the very first ship that landed on Easter Island, and what was the first thing they said? There was a race of giants there, and the race of giants were the priestly class of the Rapa Nui people, and that they were overseeing the construction of those stone heads. That story right there, you can take that and place it in 100 different areas all around the world, and it's the exact same story.
example, you have the Bible. Just start at the Bible. In the beginning, the first book of Moses, 2 times some giants are mentioned. Everyone remembers the fight between David and Goliath. Goliath was a giant. This is a Bible story. The book of Eskimo, which is the mythology of the Eskimo, simply phrases at that time the giants who were living on earth. The same thing in Egypt. They are clearly talking in the so-called pyramid text that some of the gods were giants compared to humans. Giants are in mythology actual living, practically in every ancient mythology. So why not in the United States?
If this is true, how did all this evidence simply disappear?
Across the last 200 years, many hundreds of oversized skeletons have been found, and they were discovered by archaeologists associated with the Smithsonian Institution, and they were fully recorded, they were taken away, and there are many publications that exist today that you can read all about these discoveries. So what are these giants and what happened to them? They've all gone from the museums and the institutions, so we can't look at them and study them today.
When we begin looking at the story of humankind, what we see is the stories of giants are pervasive, that they have been spoken about in ancient history, and that we have found evidence of them in modern times.
New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, and it's not just newspaper accounts. George Washington reported giant bones in Virginia. Even Abraham Lincoln talked about the discovery of giant bones.
But if all the accounts are to be believed, are these colossal creatures evidence of a lost world that's remained hidden for thousands of years?
Oftentimes portrayed as a cannibalistic race of giants. But the story doesn't end there. Every culture around the world has myths and legends about giants. You have Goliath, the Titans, the Cyclops or Grendel, Paul Bunyan and Jack and the Beanstalk. It's in the collective imagination of humanity for some reason.
Could several millennia of folklore and mythology be rooted in an incredible reality? If so, then where is the physical evidence? Where are the giant skeletons?
Literally 1,000 individual accounts, but to date there is not one verified giant bone at a museum. That's the big mystery. Where are the bones?
Some believe there were scientists around the turn of the 20th century who deliberately concealed these alleged giant finds.
There is a distinct possibility that they were actively taken away. They're in some dark corner because they're not matching up with somebody's version of human history.
If this is true, is it possible we can find more evidence of this DNA lineage throughout the ancient text? What will this reveal about the true history of humanity in relation to an ancient race of giants and possibly their interactions with Homo sapiens sapiens?
When you look at a lot of the ancient texts, and I keep going back to them because they really do lay out the plan for us to understand the distant past, you discovered that a race of advanced beings arrived in Mesopotamia, now modern-day Iraq, and also in the area of Africa, but then much later moved and migrated across the planet into North America. They were told to do this by one of their leaders. And in doing this, they also began to mate with other hominids and were giving birth to this very, very large, giant people.
The book of Genesis talks about the time when the Elohim, the sons of God, came upon the daughters of men, and that they gave birth to giants. And sometimes it was said that the women, that the babies were so large that they would be removed from the belly in what we would call today cesarean section, that they couldn't be given birth to under any normal circumstance, that they had to be removed.
When the Bible says that the sons of God, which were the angels, came down in Genesis 6 and they had sex with the daughters of men. That means angels was mixing with people. They mixed with these females, and the Bible says from the angels and the women mixing, a race of giants was produced called the Nephilim. Y'all got what I'm saying? Now the Nephilim, the Bible says these was men of renown. And what that means is these are what your myths are made upon. See, we thought Hercules and all that was a myth, but it was really giants that the Bible says was produced. The Bible says once these giants was produced, they got a taste for human flesh. So the Bible says in Genesis. And so they turned on man and began to devour men. You got what I'm saying? This was a reason for the flood.
There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, The land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof. And all the people that we saw in it are men of a great stature. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. And it came to pass after this, that there was again a battle with the Philistines at Gob. Then Sibbecai the Hushathite slew Saph, which was of the sons of the giant. And there was yet a battle in Gath, where was a man of great stature, that had on every hand 6 fingers, and on every foot 6 toes, 24 in number. And he also was born to the giant. And when he defied Israel, Jonathan the son of Shimeah, the brother of David, slew him. These 4 were born to the giant in Gath, and fell by the hand of David, and by the hand of his servants.
Chapter 7. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them, and defile themselves with them. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, whose height was 3,000 ells, who consumed the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them.
Really giants that the Bible says was produced. The Bible says once these giants was produced, they got a taste for human flesh. That's what the Bible says in Genesis. And so they turned on man and began to devour men. You got what I'm saying? This was a reason for the flood.
And for thousands of years, these giants were only remembered in Scripture until the 1800s, when we started building roads and excavating, and that's when we started digging them up. States military just fought the Nephilim hidden in a cavern in Afghanistan several years ago. You better wake up. All you lost souls have no clue of what's coming. What you think is make-believe is real. What you think is real is fake.
Scientists around the turn of the 20th century deliberately concealed these alleged giant finds.
They're in some dark corner because they're not matching up with somebody's version of human history. They're in some dark corner because they're not matching up with somebody's version of human history. They're in some dark corner because they're not matching up with somebody's version of human history.
Everyone, thanks for watching. Have a good night and God bless.
Y'all got what I'm trying to help y'all now. Now I'm not going to really deal with whether you believe or not. That's on you. I'm just going to tell you the facts and you get it or don't.